Cool. I'm here with Nathan and Dakota from Parking Garage. I haven't seen y'all live yet. I've listened to some of your stuff, and I would describe your sound as like centered generally around rock, but there's like some maybe indie twinge, some like grunginess. So I'm wondering, how would you guys briefly describe your sound?
That's a good question.
Yeah, no
Uh,
one's favorite. Just give me the best pitch. If you had to explain it to your dad, what would you say, you know?
uh, I'd say I think you'd like it, hopefully. That's how I'd describe it to him, but more just like I don't know. He's listened to some I showed him some car seat headrests, so like some of the songs I feel like favor in that more like I don't know, like emo-ish kind of vibe almost in
Right.
some respects, but also like there's a lot of like power pop focused in it. I would say as well, somewhere along those lines.
Yeah, one review compared us to Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think,
Yeah,
which I thought was kind of
that was a weird one, but like I could see it in like some aspects. I I don't know. We try to throw as much spaghetti to the wall and see what sticks generally.
we do have an element of humor and goofiness to a lot of our music.
That's rad. And I kind of do a lot of the same sort of, like silly is good. And I
Yeah.
also feel like funny or silly things, if you're kind of a funny or silly person in general, that just seems like the connection of expressing who you are as an artist instead of being like, oh, hey, I'm making jokes. It's like, hey, I'm just expressing aspects of my personality or my experience. Yeah, it's really interesting. I do kind of hear some of that like car seat headrest ish stuff where it's like emo in sentiment and maybe in lyrical content, but not necessarily
Mhm.
like overwhelmingly emo in aesthetics. So that makes a
Yeah,
ton of sense.
exactly. That's
Um, so if someone was brand new to your band, what song would you guys say like, hey, this is the staple to check out that like gives you the vibe?
um I guess the one that I would turn people to first is probably Is It Happening? It has like a lot of dancier elements and just has everything that I feel like incorporates us generally. Um, from like, the lyrical emo-ish sentiments to the, I don't know, the funkier elements with like the trumpet and whatnot. Uh, yeah, that's what I would turn people to. Do you have one, Nathan?
I agree. Probably that or another depressing song is also a pretty typical parking garage song. Um, but I think like our song Salt Rock is also we don't really perform it that much, but I think it has a lot of the elements that our music normally has.
Cool. And so I'm interested, hearing Let's Take, like, is it happening in Salt Rock? Like, what do you get out of Salt Rock that you might not get from Is It Happening, or vice versa?
Um, oh, do you want to say
Uh,
something, Nate?
Salt Rock, I guess, kind of has this uh early Maroon 5 vibe in that you go from parts where it's kind of like a funk ripoff to like a rock,
Rip
and then it
off.
switches back.
We're just
Um,
ripping everything off that we can.
well, not funk rip off, as funky as a trio of white guys can be, I suppose.
A funk pastiche, if you will.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Ex-
Yeah, I listening to your sound, and again, I'm not that familiar with y'all's music yet, but I do like that kind of quality of it's difficult to nail down exactly where you're at yet, and I think especially with all bands kind of in their earlier years, it's so important to kind of have something that's not just like, hey, like we sound exactly like Paramore, or we're just, you know, a black MIDI rip band, as hard as
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah. I
Um,
always see those TikToks that are like, hey, do you like these 12 different bands?
yeah,
Then you'll like this band that's like all of those,
yeah.
which does I don't know. Like I guess it makes sense, but also at the same time it's just like I don't know. I feel like everyone has something they bring to the table that's unique and it's hard to really I don't know, assess for that, I guess.
Yeah, it's almost
Uh,
like, do you like the feeling of being sad and listening to rock music? You're probably in the neighborhood. Just give it a listen, you know?
Yeah.
Great. I'm wondering what's like kind of the most common compliment you get about your sound from other folks, because I feel like it's so hard to measure what you feel about your sound versus what someone else really like gets on a performance or two.
Uh, I think people just like the fact that we just kind of go all over the place. Like at one point we'll do like a sultry cover of like Toxic by Britney Spears, and then in the next vein we're like burning every barn in existence with like a 2.5 minute thrasher, and then like I don't know. I feel like the most compliments we get are just how widespread
mm,
we can
we
be.
we do definitely have a variety of songs in our sets, like tempo wise, but also just vibe wise. Like we have like upbeat, funky songs, fast rock songs, and then like
So,
slow
so
rock songs.
songs to cry in the shower to at 4 a.m. So at the show on September 6th, everyone that gets a ticket will automatically get like a shower head over them, and like it'll be a very fun vibe.
I'll wear a poncho.
Okay, yeah, that'll do the trick.
So y'all haven't seen us yet, but our set's kind of similarly all over the place. I feel like the music I write, even internally in every song, I try to like make a lot of weird left turns, and so I almost wonder if that's why Taylor was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen Parking Garage. Let's pull him on the show with Kyle," because he's also got that like should have been diagnosed with ADHD, maybe brain, you know.
Yeah,
All of us, you know, like
yeah.
the TikTok self-diagnosed sort of feel. Um, so yeah, I kind of want like a medium level overview of how you guys have like gotten to this point as musicians to, you know, get a better sense of what your background essentially is. And you could take this a whole bunch of different ways. It could be like bands and scenes you were involved in, or bands that were like really influential to like your musical, your listening wise. But I just want to get a sense of like, if I had to get sort of like a memeified version of a bio, you know, what would you say got you to this point?
Uh, uh, I think it's just the fact that we were both band geeks, kinda.
Well, Dakota was already in the band. I joined the band in eighth grade. We both played saxophone.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like a concert band, and
Mm.
like, yeah. And then like senior year, we were just like, you know what? This blows. Why don't we just do our own thing? Like,
Oh, and we
I
had
n-
also played like guitar and bass songs at our concert band performances as like a side
yeah,
thing.
yeah, they're just like, yeah, we have all these concert pieces, but can y'all do like a 3 minute like solo piece or whatever? And it's like, okay, sure, fine. I guess so. Even though I was only playing bass for like a year at that point. Nathan was on guitar since he came out of the womb, essentially.
I'd been playing since like sixth grade,
That's the same thing.
but we both like the Black Keys.
Hmm.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I really liked, those dynamics of like just two people in a band, and then it's like, what where's the rest of it? But then it's like, I don't know, just like the idea of just like two people in general. I think that's kind of cool, but then we were like, oh shit, we can't do that live, really. That was, yeah, so
yeah,
uh,
and we recorded an album on with it like Ableton and like a snowball mic.
yeah, yeah,
We,
that
we
was
we
Very
recorded
cool.
the entire drum set with one snowball mic.
I've done
Um,
an incredibly similar thing before, and you put it like as far away in the room as you can because you're like, it's gonna be too loud otherwise or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we tried to like center it in the air above the drum set, but you couldn't really hear the kick drum at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, it reminds me of so I don't know if y'all knew this. I actually also have a background in the notated musics of the world. I was a composer for college and for a master's degree.
Oh,
I was a
nice.
singer, so I didn't get to do the band geek thing. My high school didn't have bands, just too small. And we went and played once basketball against this other high school that also was too small to have like a band. And so they had literally a three-piece rock band like playing in their basketball gymnasium, like Rage Against the Machine riffs and stuff like that in between like when timeouts and stuff were. So it was really fun. That wasn't my school, but it was really cool to go and like man, this school has figured out I should have been doing this the whole time. Um, so yeah, I'm wondering, like, take me through the development of a song. So I know you guys are both sort of like co-songwriters. So maybe tell me, like, where does it start? Do you guys both have like separate ideas and then come to each other, or do you guys do a lot of the songwriting collaboratively? I'd love to kind of get a sense of like how does a song go from the void to like it's a thing you can play live or record the Yeti mic in a room.
So for we generally have like our own ideas and then we just kind of go like, oh yeah, that's cool, or oh hey, that I could help, flesh that out if you want, or like we'll collab together. But generally we do a lot of it kind of separately from one another. And then we're just like, oh yeah, that would be cool. And that's it. Like honestly, I guess in terms of how I do it individually, my sort of thought process is like I'll think of an idea and I'll be like, okay, that's cool. And then I won't write it down or anything because I feel like I if it's good enough for me to remember the second time
Yeah.
that it comes across, then it's like, okay, that sticks around in the brain then. So that seems like something I should latch on to in a sense. I I I don't know what goes on in Nathan's brain, but like he could
Um,
probably
I
tell you.
normally I normally either on piano or guitar come up with an idea and I just record that as like a voice memo. And then if I like that, I try to come up with like another part to use as like a verse or a chorus. And I basically just keep recording voice memos until I have like a full instrumental I like. And then I come up with like the melody and the lyrics. But we pretty much just write our songs separately and present it to the group, and sometimes we'll give feedback, but otherwise it's unless there's something we just don't like about the song, we pretty much just leave the song as is and just
Yeah, like I feel like we're very like just like, oh yeah, we'll do that. And like I feel like there's never really been a time where we've been like, uh, let's hold off on like trying to flesh that one out or anything like that. I feel even like our drummer and even like our drummer and our trumpet player have a lot that they just sort of are like, what about we go here and there, like when we're like presenting to the group. It's collaborative in the sense that the final product is that stage, but like the general skeleton and like muscle underneath tends to be like all flesh within one of either of our brains, and then it's just a matter of knowing where to put the skin and the hair and the eyeballs.
Yeah, I feel like getting the Barbie doll dressed up is the
Yeah.
most fun part of the songwriting process. At that
Yeah.
point, it's like the bringing it from the void is so laborious. And I have a really similar process to I think both of y'all, kind of what you're describing. I have a lot of voice memos of like, I can't forget this idea because I like it so much. And then I've also really taken a lot of like that kind of, but forgetting is good process. If a hook is memorable, you'll remember it,
Yeah.
I totally agree. So I feel like every songwriter has some kind of thing, or just even every musician has some kind of thing that they're particularly dialed into, or that they're really passionate about their sound that doesn't necessarily communicate like immediately to a listener. So an example for my music style, I really like weird but accessible forms. And so, if I can get a song to be like verse, bridge, outro, and it still not sound like it's just an experiment, I get really thrilled about that. So I'm wondering, when I come and see y'all play on September 6th, what should I be listening for that you guys really love about your sound or your writing that, may or may not be immediately apparent?
Uh, that's a good question. That's I don't I feel like I've never really looked at it that way. Just like I, I feel like I'm so obvious half the time that I feel like, oh yeah, everything is apparent in a sense. But like, if I don't know, I guess there's like that is a good. Sorry, that yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no worries.
yeah,
Nathan, do you have
yeah.
any ideas while Dakota's chewing on it?
Um, I think I'm not sure if this is underappreciated necessarily, but we definitely put a lot of emphasis on like a catchy melody and like a good hook, I guess. Um, like especially to I feel like Dakota songs are really good at being catchy, but I mean it's still rock, but like I think Dakota listens to so much pop
Yeah.
that the poppiness kind of comes through in the melody writing. So I
Yeah,
guess I would say that.
sorry. I was just thinking the thing you should look out for is like 500 layers of very homoerotic subtext, like just on top of one another, with my songs at least. But
Yeah.
like, I feel like I hide it under like so many layers of like trying to hide it, but I don't know if it's apparent or not, but like it's
Yeah, there
it's
is
it's there.
a lot of times
Half
for me to understand the meaning of Dakota's songs, I have to actually read the lyrics.
Yeah, it's like I honestly this band like my writing another thing is just seeing how much gay shit I can just throw like right through Nathan's visage without him knowing and
Yeah.
just
So your like songwriting goal is to see like where is exactly the gray line threshold underneath Nathan's gaydar. If that's even a
exactly
kosher term
exact
anymore, it might
yeah
be
I
offensive now.
no it's that's exactly it.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
That's
Dakota filmed TikTok, I guess where I think you were like mouthing along to words from our song Meathead Olympics, and I was surprised at what the lyrics actually were, and
yeah
we
yeah
had
that
already
was right.
completed the song by that point.
Right.
It was ready
Yeah,
to be released.
yeah, it was like the lyrics were like on screen and you what was it? Instead of like got a path and you thought
It
it
was
was
the I think the line was got a Pavlov my brain into suitable gunk was the line. And I had thought that the line was got a path for my brain,
and
some double gunk.
yeah, it was like yeah, that could work. And
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so fun. I'm gonna have to try to like really like I'm so bad at listening for lyrics, but I'm gonna have to really try to like see if I can grab on to see what I get out of that.
Get what is it, lyritosis or whatever, just
Right,
like put your own lyrics in there.
right.
Like
So I
what were those like music videos back in like 2008 to like Numa Numa, even though it was like in Romanian and they just like put like they were like, "Oh, I could hear English in there," and they would just do whatever they thought it sounded like in English for that, and that, yeah.
One of my
Sorry, that
treasured memories was there's a grindcore band called Waking the Cadaver, and they had this like misheard lyrics video, and I just remember that as like a probably early high schooler about it, like thinking they said wheat, shredded wheat, because it's like they're pig squealing the whole time, and it's very fun. Um, yeah, I want to deviate from my normal interview questions here to talk about TikTok because we have a platform on TikTok that's bigger than our other online platforms, and actually have like met a lot of really cool, like genuine fans through the platform. And so few Athens bands I know are like on TikTok or care about it. And my crowd is a little older. I'm 29. I don't know how old y'all are.
yeah.
But especially like a lot of my friends that are in Athens bands, like Taylor, are like in their 30s or even older. And so I'm wondering, like, what are y'all's feelings on TikTok? You're on it, I can tag you
Yeah.
guys on
Well,
it.
we both just look at TikToks recreationally a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
I know a couple bands who are from Athens on TikTok. Not a whole ton though, and I feel like they just use it like tangentially in relation to like the music. And I was like, that'd be cool, but then I was like, but then what's the point? Like, what are we even trying to do at that point? Just I don't know. It's fun to do that, but also at the same time, I feel like you gotta say something at least. I
Right.
don't know.
I think a lot of people think of like looking for fans on TikTok or marketing in general online as cringe. And my opinion's always like it's way more cringe to, which I've done before, like write a big 53-minute album you're really proud of and then have no one listen to it, like not even your parents. Like
Yeah.
I would much rather go and meet. I view like all of that as being generous. Like go and try to meet fans where they're at because I know I'm constantly looking for new music, but it's hard to find. Like, you can go and listen to everything that you possibly stumble across, and you could spend literally every minute of your day listening to just the bands see in your orbit. So I think a lot of bands are, I don't know, maybe think that advertising or marketing or just doing outreach in general is like this scummy thing or against the art form. And the way I try to always frame it is like, well, it's being generous. I know people out there want my music, or you guys know, that people want to listen to bands like Parking Garage. And if you can go and introduce yourselves to them, then that's a way of like saying, hey, I care about you and I want you to listen to my stuff. Yeah. So I'm curious. I feel like there's so many things you can and cannot care about when you make music. And maybe this is a good segue because Taylor, who's also on this show, says he doesn't particularly care about being famous or like having a lot of listenership. He wants people to like his stuff. But he says, I've talked to him before. He's like, I'd rather be like a hometown hero, or I'd rather, just make music that I'm proud of and being okay with the kind of drawbacks there. So I'm wondering, like, there's things about being in a band or recording or songwriting. There's so many things you can care about. What are things that you feel like you guys maybe think that other people care about, but you just aren't that concerned with?
Uh, that we care about. I don't know. I I feel like I care too much about everything. I'm always like looking at every single detail, being like, okay, is can you hear that word in the 2 minute 37-second mark? Is that like specific syllable too loud? Are people gonna point that out and be like, hey, wait a second, what the fuck is this? You didn't
Yeah.
like I I don't I don't want to say that I don't think there's anything that other people have considered that I haven't considered, but like it's hard to I don't know. It's hard to be like I don't know. It's I don't I just care too much and or or I think I care too much and then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, I put all my eggs in one basket and then realize that everything I don't know what I'm saying anymore. God,
Right.
God.
Nathan, maybe you
uh,
have you something you were like, oh,
Save
I
me,
don't care about
Nate.
this at all. Yeah.
I I don't know. I will say I think so far we've done a pretty good job of just making the music we want to make, and in general the reception has been pretty positive. Like I
Yeah.
don't think we've held anything back from the music. Um,
It seems
Yeah,
like
I
from your descriptions, just generally, it's like worrying about cohesiveness is something that you guys have not cared as much as like saying, I want to do a lot of things or we want to make a lot of different kinds of sounds. So, and I'm in that camp too because I always think like you think about records that I love, like the Black Parade. It's all over the place, but it still
Mhm.
all sounds like my chem, like um so yeah, okay, cool. Well, you
yeah.
guys have.
S-
Oh, sorry.
uh,
Go ahead.
sorry. I was just thinking about like I feel like we also care about like how we show it to the world as well. Like I don't know, I like with the new single we put out, we have like all this different like uniforms and shit for it, and like the I don't know, just like the I don't know, just the idea of what a meathead is kind of
well,
like yeah.
before we were a band, we actually had a YouTube channel, and we really tried to do like the comedy YouTuber thing. So we've always kind of been entertainment oriented, I guess. Like
Yeah,
like I think we've always kind of had the audience in mind a little bit.
yeah. Like I enjoy the aspect of being a hometown hero, you know. I think that's cool, but also like I we still got to reach that status first. Like they're like you have to overshoot in order to like land at that point, I think, if that
Sure.
makes any sense.
I think we would be very happy if we could make it to the hometown hero stage.
First, we got to
If
find a hometown.
if we could reach a point where we could quit our jobs and live off the music, that would also be perfectly fine.
Great. Yeah,
We're
I mean the
just
dream for a lot of folks, right?
Hmm.
we're just really at this point we're just doing it for the music, really.
We're
It's
we're just happy to be here.
you know
Yeah. Well, I'm expecting, what's up YouTube from y'all on stage, if that's, where your bones are from, right?
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Um,
well,
Hit the bell
really
Hit the
icon.
bell as well. Yeah.
our new music video really is just like the type of YouTube video we would have made just set to music.
Yeah. I feel like I've watched so much YouTube in my life. I feel like it's almost like a third parent for me. Like my dad surely taught me to tie a tie, and then I forgot, and then I relearned it from YouTube. Um, and that's not to say that my dad didn't help at all there, but he was great. But I just, my brain just took that information and said it's probably on the internet, and it was. Okay, so you guys have passed all my difficult questions. Clap sound effect. Um, so I have two more short, fun ones. So what would be your ideal post-show meal?
Post show meal. Uh, what the fuck? Sorry.
Nathan looks like he's rearing.
So
Yeah.
normally we eat before our shows, and then I guess we're just kind of ready to go to bed by the time the show is over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what do you
No
eat?
munchies
What do you eat
afterwards.
pre-show then? What's like your prep meal?
The last
You
like
carbo
five
loading?
shows, the last five shows we've done in Athens, Nathan's girlfriend has always taken us to Ted's most famous pizza, and
No,
like
no,
the
she's my wife.
Ted's
She's
most
my
best.
wife, Dakota.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm sorry. You're Nathan's wife. Fuck. I've missed out on the Nathan lore. Ignore the fact that I was your best man. Um, but yeah, it's like the past like 5 out of 6 shows we've been to Ted's Most Best Pizza, and like it's good.
I like
I
Ted's most best.
Yeah, I
My favorite pizza place in Athens is Automatic, and then probably followed by Little Italy. But
yeah, I prefer Little Italy because sometimes you just want to be a greasy Italian. Like,
yeah, Little Italy is the place where I love it so much, but also like sometimes I don't drink, and so like going there at like 1 in the morning, as I'm, want to do, and having like blitzed drunk people like try to befriend me on like both in front of me, and then the person behind me will try to befriend me, and then they try to fight each other and get me on their side. I'm like, I don't want to talk to any of you right now, much less be your friend or fight on your behalf. Um, so yeah, talking about Athens, I had such a big heart for it. I went to college there, and obviously I spent a lot of time there playing in, two bands, one that's located in Athens. Um, so community, it's super important, and it's
yeah.
especially important for local bands. So I want to ask, you guys can each give me one, just so we can keep this somewhat brief. What's a band in your scene that you think people should check out? And we're running out of time very shortly. Why?
Band you should check out here. I would say probably Swear Jar, or actually, yeah, I'll say Swear Jar. Yeah, best EP of 2023. They got the 90s alt pastiche down to a science, a formula it's
And not to
perfect.
mention a T.
Not to mention, yeah, not to mention a T. And yeah, they are the baddest bitches.
They're really great. Shout out to
Yeah.
Campbell. She's a friend
Yeah.
from, we sang in choir together in college, so
Oh,
very
nice.
fun to have that pop up. Nathan, who would you recommend in I guess the Athens scene as like part of the community?
I also really like Swear Jar. I mean, we kind of have a relationship with them at this point.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I'd say probably Schmooze. They were on our last bill a few
Schmooze.
days ago, and I've been impressed with their music. So
Very cool. Can you describe briefly? I actually haven't ran into Schmooze yet. They haven't been in my circle.
it's it's
Kind
I
of
guess
hard
it's
rock.
alternative rock, hard, pretty.
They're similar to Swear Jars in a lot of ways. Female lead, got a lot of, again, like 90s pastiche to them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Smooth.
Awesome. We'll have to go give them a listen. We'll close out here. Come see Parking Garage open up our show on September 6th at Cine,
Yeah.
bright and early. It's not an early show, but you guys should get there as early as the doors open. So yeah, it's all ages, 9-6, Cine. Parking Garage is going to kill it. I'm really excited to know you all had a trumpet player. I'm thrilled about that. And yeah, then come see us and Here Be Monsters after. Thanks so much, Nathan and Dakota, and y'all come to our show. Okay, bye.
Be there or die.